Good morning. uh, Regardless, good morning. Yeah, we're going. Of course, we're going to do. How silly of you to assume that we wouldn't. I said I would make fun of Google, and here we are. Let's see how much fun I can actually have at Google's expense, shall we? Yes, well, I still have to load up the thing. I don't even know where it is yet. Presumably, it's on YouTube, right? Because it's Google. So let's see. Pixel 6. Is this made by Google? Yes, it must be made by Google, right? Yeah, yeah, that's a verified account. And it's got the Google. Yeah, okay, okay. We're good. I don't think it's started yet. No, no. Presumably they start at kids are really loud outside. Presumably they start on the hour. Yeah. See, it says grab us. Oh, event starts in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Excellent. So how are we all feeling? uh, no, that's I don't think that's what it will be like. Like oh, what the hell are these? Are these pixel buds? That looks disgusting. Oh my god, really? Have these been launched already? Well, like if you tune in right now, I think Google is showing like it's yeah, it says Pixel Buds A series. Oh, they look so bad. Well, don't they? If you like they, they look like they're trying really hard. But that's actually it, right? That's kind of the point. That it's just oh, oh no. Oh no, they're trying. Oh, they're trying so hard. I'm actually really looking forward to the processor that Google's putting into this because that'll be interesting to see how it compares to definitely what Apple's doing, right? Because obviously between Qualcomm and Intel, they've sort of really like Qualcomm is dominating in the Android space for a while at least, right? Like yeah. So it was that Qualcomm and Intel were sort of their own little monopolies within monopolies, right? Like what am I trying to say? That for the longest time, Android phone makers had really only had Qualcomm to do to to use for their phones because nobody else made a really truly competitive processor. Like Samsung had its own Exynos, and MediaTek has their own sort of like lower level, lower performance stuff. And and if you wanted high performance to compete, it was just Qualcomm. But of course now you're supposed to like Google's designing its own chip because apparently Qualcomm's not good enough anymore. Wow, thank you. Google turns the lights off. Why is it all set in New York? Yes, it's all my fault. Yes, that's why it's set in New York. Got it. How How dare you take off your mask in the middle of? Oh, that's just. Uh... Oh, by the way, get your flu shots. Yes, those are out, right? Get your damn flu shots. Oh, I'll help you speak Japanese. Good job. Wow, you removed people. Because it's because what it is, it's yeah, it's computational, right? Like because obviously they are working hard on pushing. Everyone needs a differentiator, and so Google's attempt to differentiate is going to be. I gotta turn this lower. It's going to try to differentiate based on artificial intelligence. Yeah. I'm not going to comment on that. No, that's one culture where you're on your own. See the point of this, right? Remember when people cared about privacy, like Google was desperately trying not to make the privacy invasion of all of this very obvious because it's that's what they really like to need, right? Here's something I actually want to talk about when they're talking about AI. At some point, AI will learn enough to help you manage your life. And that is terrible from a philosophical standpoint. Because from a philosophical standpoint, if you're not managing your own life, if you rely on a piece of technology and not just another person like a secretary, because secretary is a different type of idea, right? Because there's those interactions. But if you come to rely on technology, then that gives the technology company uh, untold power over who you are, right? Like suddenly we're talking Orwellian levels, not of surveillance because that's already happening, but rather of control and of formation of thought, right? And so it's fascinating to me that Americans, out of all people, are allowing this to happen. State of the art hardware. Remember when I talked about Qualcomm just now? That's that's a dig at Qualcomm right there. Everyone is using the word tensor. It's so silly. Oh, actually, I need to write this part down. Um, what is this? What was I talking about? AI Orwellian level of thought imposition. Well, it's true. Like this is definitely it's a good thing to be able to do this. The most advanced camera. Can you imagine? That's exactly what we were saying, right? Like if Google can change the way you think or help surface what it thinks you can think when you think it, then you are losing the ability to think yourself. And a secretary will sorry, secretary assistant will never be able to do that for you. Well, okay, maybe not never. I know some assistants who. Wow. Wow, you can? Yeah, Google claims that because they were using essentially what they're saying, right? By using Qualcomm hardware, they were never able to give you the definitive Google experience. Oh, I hate that camera bump, actually. Yes. Wow. Good job. The camera bar doesn't have computational photography. That's a part of the SoC. Look how quirky that new new design language is. They're trying so hard. Wow. Okay, show me. That is a good price though. Yeah. But that's also like keep in mind, right? Like that 599 is heavily subsidized. And so essentially what Google is trying to do is actually trying to squeeze out competition. Like LG, HTC, what were the other bigger brands? They've all gone now, right? And and it's really only left Samsung and a smattering of Chinese competitors that build top of the end smartphones. And so what Google is trying to do here is obviously it's a market play. The rumor for this is that it's going to cost 799, I think. And that's completely different from the Chinese and Samsung money costs, right? So 899. Okay. Well, yeah, again, that's the point, right? Because the idea is that the phone itself acts as a loss leader, right? Like the whole point of it is like it's not the razor blade model. No, that's a different thing. Where you're being sold sort of attachments for the rest of your life. No, it's the idea that they can make up the cost on the hardware by selling services, right? And Google is particularly insidious here because, excuse me, those services. Oh, excuse me, those services aren't the the way to recuperate the cost is not by charging the consumer for more services, but rather to charge the advertiser for more services, right? So if Google is able to refine its all of its algorithms and AIs to target ads in a better way, then people will want to advertise on Google because they can reach the people that they want better. But the only way that Google is able to do that is via being as invasive as possible, right? Like we've talked about Chrome, we've talked about what was it, Android in the past. And the whole point is the more that Google can entwine itself into your life, the more they can sell advertisement. And so Honestly, no, you're right. You're right. Actually, you're right. Google should have done this ages ago. And it's funny that they didn't, right? And that speaks to what I've said before, which is the complete absence of strategic vision since the days of Eric Schmidt in Google. Like Google was able to just throw money at problems whenever. Wow, pastel pink paired with juicy red. Doesn't that make you feel good about yourself? That's just right. Doesn't it feel like they're trying too hard? It genuinely to me it just feels like they're doing this because they don't know what else they can do, right? And that refined, unexpected color combinations. Wow, accentuated. Oh my god. Anyway, thank you for telling me about all the color options. Didn't we just see this? I, I feel like we just saw this, or was that the Pixel 6? I yes, that's right. I'm getting old. Uh, oh, look at the difference actually, right? Look at the Pixel 6 and look how wide the bezel is compared to the one on the 6 one on the Pro. That's actually terrible because that means the 6 Pro is actually really bad at reachability. You have to use it with both hands. Because if you try to use it with one hand and you reach over and the part of your hand touches the screen, it'll be accepted as a touch input. It's yeah. I wonder who Google got to make this. Wow, sustainable. I, I was gonna say something else, but I completely forgot. It's all good. Wow. You notice what's going on, right? Like Google is taking. We've talked about this before, where Google's taking the features out of Android open source and putting it into proprietary software and still trying to hide behind the fact that Android is open source is completely hypocritical and just like everything has been reimagined. Yes, isn't it great? No, no, complete phone experience. Don't say the Android team. That's just stupid. At this point, there's basically no open source Android left. Like Android was is a holdover from a better time in technology where people were where there was still that there was still that desire for openness in the tech industry. But the more these the big guys, quote unquote big guys, um, the more they grow, the less likely they are to actually be really interested in that. I think that makes sense, right? Yes, exactly. And so look at that exactly what's happening, right? Like Google is tailoring the operating system that they're licensing out to other developers other hardware developers, but they're doing it in such a way that it's very much tailored to Google's own hardware. And so what does that mean? That means the other hardware developers are no longer able to be first class citizens within this, because suddenly now you have so many features that are baked into the operating system, right? That are part of the operating system that they're unable to use. And that's technically not anti-competitive, because only because the FTC doesn't really understand this. Actually, maybe I should. Uh, is Probably, actually, now that I think about it. You don't look like you work out. Actually, I don't know if she doesn't. I have no idea. Maybe she her neckline looks like she's never mind. No, never mind. Yeah, that's right. And so and Google is the only one that should have access to your life. That is what this is, right? Like when Google talks about privacy, they only mean privacy vis-a-vis the other companies. Oh, sorry, coach. I didn't even notice your message. Hi, how are you? We can talk about it afterwards. Like the whole point of Google really focusing on privacy is not that, Google wants nobody to understand your privacy. It's that Google wants to control who can see your privacy, right? Like that's exactly the point there. By giving your life to Google, you are giving your life to Google and nobody else, because that data. And we see this. We actually see this in the regulatory framework that's coming out in China right now. That the idea that data should be open to all competitors, because in the modern age, data is worth so much more than any amount of like corporate secrets, like the customer data, the terabytes and exabytes of stuff that we do is so valuable to advertisers, to component makers, to phone companies, technology companies. Like that's exactly it. Wow, good for you. That's pretty cool. Informed decisions. This is better UI than what Apple has, though, for sure, right? Well, that's not true, right? Because your explicit action, when they say that sensitive information doesn't leave, it means that how do I say this? When you log into your Google account on your Pixel phone, you are literally taking the action to allow Google to take all of that information, right? Unless, because all of these privacy related issues with Google are opt out. And so anyone who signs up for a new Google account doesn't, like, by default Google will hoover up all of their data. Every single thing, every search that they make, every YouTube video that they watch, even things that they do in private mode, the phone calls that they make, the time they spend looking at their screen, the text messages that they send, all of this gets into the operating system. And so by signing into your Google account without opting out of all of these privacy issues, you are actually taking explicit steps to allow Google to take it all. Right? So when they say that, oh, no data leaves your device, blah blah blah, that's it's it's just not it's it's just false advertising. Tensor cores, isn't that, that's Nvidia's thing for machine learning, I think. Held back for years. Oh, held back for years. See, remember we talked about this Qualcomm again, right? Like the Qualcomm monopoly. But you weren't held back for years because you weren't trying to do it for years. That's just like, yeah, shift the blame on other people. Why don't you? Right? Like this is no, 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 no. ML. Wow. No, it's because Google research has never been properly applied in the real world. Because Google doesn't care enough to apply it to the consumer space. Wow, you're holding up a chip. Good job. Give me a die shot. I want to see what the actual die is. Don't just show me this. No, that's not a die shot. Good. Good. So like what Apple has been doing all this time. Well, no, everyone has been doing it. It's just that Google. 2 plus 2. Interesting. What cores are they? Actually, don't we know what cores they're using? Hold on, let me. It's still going to drain your battery. Do we know what the tensor chip is? No. Nope. Oh, this is not. No. Wow, did they really impress you with pretty flashing lights? Okay, so show me. Wow, even on a chip that didn't win on benchmarks. Wow. Well, actually, what was the chip they used on Pixel 5? Let's see. What was it? Yeah, okay, so Pixel 5 used a system on chip that was what, like at the time or today, like 5 years old, and even at the time was not considered top of the line. Right? So that's just that's a terrible way of comparing things. Remarkable. Oh wow. Are we not? Are we using extraordinary camera components now? Like you see what they're trying to do, right? Like they're trying to blame other people for how things were, so that they can say, "Oh, look, now that we've applied our own abilities to it, things are going to be different." I need to write this down. Um, even though they did not want to try. So, and this is the Snapdragon, what was it? 765G camera modules. Yes. Good job. So this was pioneered by a whole bunch of Chinese companies. It is. Ugh, I don't I don't think they run it by default at 60 frames per second, do they? I think still it's 30 frames per second by default. Not sure. The signature pixel look. Oh, that's cool. Compared to what? Like the exactly, right? Like if you're going to tell me what a huge improvement it is, show me what it looked like before. A giant step forward. Oh, right there. Look at how it got. The magic eraser doesn't actually erase things properly. To be fair, like that actually makes me no, no. Yeah, but like you, look at that. Like when it disappears, it leaves behind like a really bad thing. Like it's only possible on like very consistent and boring backgrounds, right? Wow, good job. Yes. No, 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 no. I'm not going to comment on that. I will comment on the fact that I don't think Disney movies are very good. Well, because like it feels like such a massive waste of time, right? Like, good job. Erase. Good job. Why do you need to erase this? You can't, because obviously you can't just use that magic erased picture on anything. You can. Well, again, that's what I was talking about all this time, right? Like, why can't you practice those muscles that she's literally just talking about seeing past something? Why do you need your phone to help you with that? Face unblur. Yeah, because well, so that's the point, right? Like you can do a lot of these things in AI, and that's what Google was trying to push, right? Like their whole differentiating factor is that they want to use AI to improve your life. Two images. You do lose some information when you do that, though, right? Like, obviously, this is good for day-to-day use, but yeah, you do exactly when you use the ultra wide, it is a different sensor. That's cool, though. I mean, I could see lots of people using this, mostly on their dogs, though. So, oh, that's cute. I mean, I mean, wow. I mean, yeah, that is pretty cool. But that like you start running into things where it looks fake, right? And so the idea is that you you start losing reality, and this is again a slightly philosophical issue. Yeah. Evan, how many of you are on Snapchat? Actually, don't tell me. I don't even. Oh no, don't. Oh no, 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 don't tell me. Every day. I wonder what he feels about TikTok's competition, because TikTok is kind of like a slightly better Snap. Well, that's maybe not slightly better, but slightly more popular now version of Snapchat. The back twice. You mean like how I can do it on an iPhone from many, many, many years ago? Well, maybe not many, like 2, 3 years ago. Wow, the full experience. Yeah. See, see, exclusivity. There it is again, right? We keep coming back to this issue about And sorry, I'm just walking around. We keep coming back to this issue of Google just like relentlessly going against its own open source, not open source, open ecosystem beginnings, right? Like he looks so Evan looks much more awkward than I remember him. What's up, Florian? I did, yes. When was this? 2, 3 years ago? But like again, it's like it's never like on a deeper level, right? It's just like sub-bro. Not Florian. No, no, no. Evan. Yeah. It is important, right? Yes. I thought you said that it was your own community. Why can't you learn from yourself? That's the other issue, right? When the moment you start adding in artificial intelligence, it's how you train them that becomes an issue. Yeah, we kept it real. No, but that just looks like it's washed out. And so why can't you build a camera? Yes, it's not good. Yeah. So what if and here I know this might be a little bit too radical. What if we just captured the colors as they are instead of trying to change them? Like it's been my issue with all cameras. Like it doesn't matter the manufacturer that they obviously the there's a huge difference between the CMOS sensor that's in a picture that's in a phone and the retinas of a human, right? And so what happens is between that going from the CMOS sensor to the screen, like there is going to be always going to be differences. 100% there are going to be differences, right? And so I think the better avenue would have been to try to create a better sensor, um, and a better screen so that you can translate the light that you capture. So no, so that you can reproduce accurately the light that you capture. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Again, this is perfectly cool. Like if you're going to have a second rate solution, then you should make sure that your second rate solution can do the best that it can. And if Apple were doing this, I would say the same thing. I don't know what Apple is doing. I don't. When was the last iPhone event? Did we talk? We did talk about the iPhone event. I don't think they talked about this. Yeah. No, no, no. We're not going down that route. It's it's much more. It's much more about. mm, Thinking about images as facts. That's so. If an image is a fact, then would you be okay with the image being completely doctored by by the algorithm, right? Like that's the problem. There is something to be said about pride, though. Yes, absolutely, and that is that it probably should be less emphasized than. No, 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 no. In general, humans have too much pride in themselves. If everyone were able to have, let's say, 40% less pride in themselves, life would be a lot better. Just that's just how it is, right? It's just, hey, look, they're using the same the same layout that Apple is using. Well, no, no, that's fine. You want to display dense amount of information, right? Like you want a single slide that can summarize everything, so you should do that. It's just it was very Apple. See, I feel like you're biased against me being biased against Google. There's like my grievances with it are legitimate, whereas your grievances with me are not. Actually, Google Translate is really good. I will admit that. I do use Google Translate. But again, like the question is that information actually no, there's no question about Google Translate. Google Translate is fine. There you go. The mic stays open. No, I'm just Okay, let's see this. Wow. Catharsis. Okay. Doesn't I was about to say that. Yes. Yes. Doesn't it feel like it's a little bit desperate? No emojis, please. Oh, come on. Like emojis are so context and culture driven that you're not using the same emoji for the same thing. Nobody is. Like literally nobody is. Phone calls. Oh, that's so cool. But it's so useless. Is it the worst? I wonder where they get that data from. This is cool. This is very cool. I like this. That is very cool. That is very cool. I like that. That is sweet. That is amazing. Naturally. I feel like he's practiced this, but like he either hasn't practiced it enough or he's naturally a lot more awkward. So excited to say 18%. Okay. You can't. No, you can't. You why is that a good thing? That's quick. That's quick. Although I'm not sure the translation is very good. I saw that it started with Tashkani, which doesn't really translate. Like the the Japanese for sure is not sure, like a direct translation of sure. Wow. Wow. Actually, YouTube videos translate like the Google Auto translation has been quite impressive. I'm much more actually interested in Google's auto captioning because the auto captioning means that you can read. So what I do is I occasionally, when I have time, I'll watch some Japanese shows. But if they don't have subtitles, that makes it a little bit more difficult, right? So but live subtitles actually make it a lot better. Just a lot better. Of course. Of course. Of course. Oh no. Like there's such a thing as too much minimalism, okay? Like what's yeah, how are you going to spark joy in your life, really? I am surprised as well. That is the proper use of Tashkani, by the way. Yes, yes, that's the whole point of Google, right? Actually, I have read that as well. Yeah, exactly that. But that's the thing, right? Like you have hmm, like that is translations like that aren't a difficult problem per se. You just need computing time to train, and you need to iterate on the neural network to train it properly, right? And that's just a time investment. That's nothing else. The six, I will actually admit this. I actually kind of like the look of the six. Yeah, because it's like their modern smartphones need a little bit of a bezel, otherwise you can't use it one hand. Oh, those pixel buds are disgusting. Hey, look, they're doing the Apple thing. Nice. And we get all of that peach and pinkness. Wonderful. Because it's supposed to be soft, right? Like that's their whole cell that it's soft and gentle and warm. I think Material is moving away from the primary colors that Google has been using in the past. Right? Like Google has been using red, yellow, and blue for so long now that it's just kind of ridiculous. Anyway, we are done for today. Do we have any final questions? Excellent. Nobody's. Oh, okay. Um, no. The question was, will we do Samsung tomorrow? And I really don't want to. I mean, okay, well, you guys can vote on it, I guess. If you really, when is the Samsung one tomorrow? Let's see. Samsung, October 20th. Where is it? At 7 a.m. Pacific time. I mean, we could. I can probably make that actually. Uh, we could. Let's see what Samsung is doing. Samsung is doing. Oh, these are single slates, right? That's interesting. So there's going to be a. You see the Smart Things logo on the top left. Oh, actually, let me put up this picture. I wonder if there we go. Oh, it came and disappeared. Okay, I have to save it. Hold on. Just quickly while I talk about this. Where's the picture? There it is. Excuse me? Never mind. We're just not gonna do it. It's okay. The idea is there might be some interesting stuff tomorrow. I've not been following the rumor mill, so I have no idea. Um, if you guys want though, 10 o'clock, yeah, that should be doable. That should be doable. Yeah, you can vote on it. I don't particularly care either way. Cool. Cool. Any other questions? No. Excellent. Anything else? mean, you guys did meet the. I still can't believe that you guys met the price for the next karaoke stream so quickly. I suppose we could do it on Saturday. I feel like I can't do this every 2 weeks. That's just too much. No, no, I know. I promised, yes, and we did set a. Okay, I said a. I thought you guys wouldn't be able to meet the goal, to be honest. That's why I said it. But yeah, we'll probably do it on Saturday. Uh, don't worry, I'll come up with some songs. Don't worry. We'll have a song list. Yes. We no, we'll talk about it later. Yes. Other questions relating to Google's event. Why do I dislike? If Google had gone into the world with the explicit statement of we will trade your information and your privacy for wonderfully free services, I think I would have been happy with that. I think so. I think if Google, if as a company they didn't try to hide the fact that their business model really needs that personal information, I think I would have been happy with that. Yeah, because you have to give the user the agency to determine whether they want to use your services or not, right? And oftentimes when services are free, people forget that. They forget that they are that like yeah, yeah. Essentially, I just do not like the hypocrisy of it, of saying that, oh, I want to, we are doing all of this wonderful stuff, and look for how cheaply we can do it, and forever we were held back by others. And note that there was really no talk about the design of the chip at all, which means that it's probably not going to benchmark very well, right? And it's not going to benchmark very well, and it's probably going to um, everyday use will probably be fine. Everyday use will probably be fine, and the vast majority of people can't tell the difference anyway, nor do they want to tell the difference, right? Like, obviously Google knows how much the most popular apps are running on Android devices for obvious reasons, because it all comes from the Play Store, and they will have optimized both the software and the hardware for those most popular apps, and so therefore most people will not be able to tell the difference. That's just how it is, right? And so exactly, I just wish they wouldn't fake about it. If they had come out and said, we've optimized, we've looked at the top 20 applications that everyone uses, and we've optimized the operating system and the hardware to make sure that these things get the best amount of get the highest amount get no, not get the highest amount, but get the proper amount of throughput, and like the algorithms are catered to, then fine, whatever. I don't think that's being disingenuous. That might sound a little bit anti-competitive, but it really isn't, right? Like the FTC will not be able to sue you for that. Whereas I dearly hope they get sued for neutering Android for everyone else, right? Because once you've established, in terms of the smartphone market, there are two monopolies, 100%. One is Apple, and one is Google. Apple has, by the nature of its own ecosystem, has a more deserving monopoly than Google, which established its monopoly in underhanded ways, right? Apple was always very upfront about, you buy an Apple product for the Apple product and for the Apple software and the Apple ecosystem, and that was what the Epic versus Apple lawsuit was about. but Google has always established its own monopoly with rather underhanded tactics about, oh, we're giving this away for free, blah blah blah, everyone can use it, and then putting very strict restrictions on what you can and what you cannot use. And that's anti-competitive, right? That's anti-competitive within the Android ecosystem. And we're not talking about the smartphone ecosystem, right? Like we have to define the scope of these things. Anyway, that's completely for the future. Yes, yes. Thank you very much for watching. I'm not answering any more questions. Please download Firefox. Please don't do Chrome. And once again, I've wasted a complete hour of your time. Thank you and bye bye.